Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer. Today on our 2020 GMC Sierra 3500, we're going to be checking out the Curt A30 fifth wheel hitch for trucks that have the OEM prep package. So when it comes to picking out a fifth wheel hitch, it can get a little overwhelming. There's just so many of them available. It can get kind of confusing and unsure of what direction you're really wanting to go. So hopefully I can simplify things a little bit for you. So with this one here, like I said, it's going to work with the OEM prep package, not only for GMCs, but also for Chevys as well. So this applies to the Chevrolet trucks too. But what's really cool about this setup, utilizing that OEM prep package, this thing just drops right into place and you're good to go. And, picking out a fifth wheel hitch is pretty important. This thing's responsible for a lot of work. If you're pulling a heavy trailer around, you want something that's going to be up to the task, right? And with the Curt hitches, are actually really popular. We've seen a lot of these. To be honest, this is my first time kind of messing with the A30. And the 30 means it's going to be a little bit more heavy duty. It's going to have a 30,000 pound weight capacity. I've seen the A20s a bunch, and they're pretty much identical. Those are just rated for 20,000 pounds. So that's always a good option for you too. If you don't need one that's this heavy duty, the A20 is always worth looking into as well. But this thing has a couple features that are worth pointing out and kind of help separate it from some of the other ones. So why don't we just kind of take a closer look at it. If we look at the head here, so this is going to have some movement in it. It'll articulate a little bit. And I feel like that would have to help with hooking up to your trailer. Majority of the time, truck's not perfectly level, trailer's not perfectly level, and so having some movement in here should help kind of guide, underneath the bottom of your fifth wheel there and make it a little bit easier to line up the kingpin, I would imagine. And I would think too, this would have to eliminate some of that chucking and noise you hear, from your kingpin kind of clanking around in there. I just feel like they would have to absorb some of that. So good stuff there. The jaws, these go around 360 degrees, so completely around your kingpin, as opposed to some of the other ones where your kingpin would be in and then a bar just kind of runs across there. So this will also help with the chucking and stuff too, and that movement, and give you a way better, a little more confidence, obviously, when you have a complete connection all the way around the kingpin. So the way this is going to work, so the handle will have this pin in it to prevent it from coming unhooked on accident, but you can open that up and it'll stay open like this. And then once you hook up, it'll kind of auto latch, if you will. So here's a simulator. And when you hook up, it'll automatically lock into place. Then obviously you'd want to put your pin back. But hopefully that kind of just gives you a visual at least, and makes it a little bit easier to understand what's kind of going on there. So definitely better than just a single bar going across, at least in my opinion. Something that's pretty cool too is obviously sometimes you're not going to want this in your truck bed, right? Just takes up some space, and this one's actually pretty compact compared to some of the other ones I've seen, but it's still kind of a task to lift this out by yourself. But with this one, if you pulled out this pin and clip and this larger pin, you could actually take the head off by itself, and makes it, that's pretty manageable. Definitely one person, get that out of the way. And then it'd make it a little bit easier to pull the base out as well. So you can kind of split up the weight a little bit there, and hopefully make it a little easier on your back. This particular hitch, it is going to be a fixed type, so once it's in the prep package, that's where it's going to stay. Perfectly fine for long beds. If you happen to have a short bed, just keep in mind it can get pretty tight in regards of cab clearance. So if your fifth wheel, it overhangs a little bit, and when you're making really sharp turns, sometimes what can happen is you can get really close to your cab corners there, and sometimes even make contact, and obviously you don't want that. There is a solution though, if that's something you're worried about. And that is, they actually have fifth wheel heads that are sliders, so they'll have a lot of times some rails or something, and it'll allow you to essentially change the mounting position of the hitch, so it'll slide back and give you a little bit of extra clearance. That way you can make really tight turns and not have to worry about it hitting your cab corners. I do want to address one of the kind of common questions we get asked in regards to fifth wheel hitches like this, and that's if they're going to work with the tonneau cover. And thankfully our truck has one on it today, so we can kind of show it off. And with that said, our hitch is actually in the highest position, so as high as it'll possibly go. And even with it set up like that, and a pretty nice tonneau cover, actually this thing's pretty thick, we're not going to have any issues at all. And matter of fact, I mean, I can get my whole fist in there easily. So I feel like it'd be pretty safe to say, unless you have a really oddball type tonneau cover, you'll be in pretty good shape and really shouldn't have to worry about running into too many issues. The hitch is going to be adjustable, and what I mean by that, you can bring it all the way up like this or lower it down. It's really just going to depend on your trailer and how you kind of want to fine tune everything, but you do have the option to do that. And earlier on I said this is has a 30,000 pound weight capacity, and what that means, that's going to be the gross trailer weight rating, so the amount of weight pulling on the hitch, so weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have on it. And it's going to have a 7,500 pound vertical load limit, so that's going to be the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. I do always like to suggest, though, you know, it's never a bad idea just to grab your truck's owner's manual. That way you can make sure you can pull that much weight safely. But other than that, at the end of the day, nice piece. You know, if you're looking for a fixed type fifth wheel hitch for the prep package on your GM vehicle, this is one that's definitely worth considering. And that'll finish up our look at of the Curt A30 fifth wheel hitch for trucks with the OEM prep package on our 2020 GMC Sierra 3500.